Hey, this is Ace from Warhawks Delta 47, and this is my channel, Jack McLaren. I'm just gonna do a review on my Desert Eagle. I got about probably 6 months ago. I had some major problems with it, so I just want to touch on those. Actually, I was looking on YouTube and the internet period for a lot of videos on how to take the slide on and off, because I took it off and I had a major problem, and so I want to touch on a few problems I had in case anybody else has the same problems, because all the videos I found were not helpful at all to me. So alright, I got this case for it, which I think is awesome. This is actually a Bible case, so it's kind of funny, but this is empty, by the way. Okay, so this right here is a little button that this is your slide lock here, that there's actually a pad in here or it's like a little bumper. When you pull the trigger and the hammer goes forward, it hits this button, and that's what releases the gas. And so it's really loose when there's no gas in here, so that's a good way to tell if your chamber's empty. Just tap it, and if you feel it go in, then that means it's empty. If it's really hard to push, that means this is full of gas, and of course you'll hear a ch when you push it. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is the slide. Okay, first thing you gotta make sure is your safety is off, because if it's on, there's a little metal tab in here that comes down, and it will actually damage the plastic. If your safety's on, it will not go forward when the safety's on, and when the safety's up and it's closed, you can't pull it back. So you do this and it won't go back. Alright, and the trigger, well, yep, see, look, that it just happened. It will go off when the safety's on. It's weird, so it's not really safe, but sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. See, there you go, safety was on. Alright, so you take the barrel off by pushing this button here, and when you push it, this moves up. You see that moving? You push this down. That releases the barrel. Pull it forward, it comes right off. Alright. I actually had to go to Home Depot and buy, and it's being weird, I actually had to buy O-rings for these springs, because one of them came off, and it is impossible to find the right size. They're like the smallest size they make, so just to be aware of that. And you got to pull the trigger and hit this to make this come off. Sometimes you have to have the hammer back, which is weird. Let me move this, and it just wants to be stupid. One thing you got to make sure is if your magazine is in, the slide will not move when the barrel's off. So make sure your magazine is out if you're going to take the slide off. This is one of the reasons why I don't like it. I love playing with this gun, but it's impossible to actually use. Alright, I'm going to stop the video for a minute. Alright, so this is what happened. What you have to do is you have to pull it all the way back first, hold this down, pull the trigger, and then slide it all the way off. It's really weird, but right now I can't go back any further, because this is the problem I had when I tried to put it on when I first got it. I took the slide off to see how the gun worked, and then I tried to put it back on and it wouldn't go back on. this is the state it was in when I first got it. It does not move at all. I was very frustrated. Okay, it will not pull back. I'm using all my strength here. This is not pulling back. Well, all the strength I want to use on it, because this part right here is plastic. Alright, so I'm going to take the barrel off again. Alright, you see how this slides forward. Alright, this comes off. Alright, this is the slide. These recoil springs hang really weird. Not sure if this is supposed to be loose on mine. Ears might be tight, I don't know. But this pops out. You push down on this back part first, and then this comes out. This is the internal firing piece. Alright, I'm going to zoom in on this. Okay, this right here, when it focuses, you'll see it. Alright, you see that right there? That is a little tiny screw. Now, what happened was on mine, when I pulled my slide back, there's this little metal tab right here. Alright, right there. Alright, so when you pull the hammer back, clicks up. Alright, when you push this forward, it disengages whatever locks the hammer back, so that when you pull the trigger. Alright, so you have to have the hammer back to put the slide back on. And you gotta get the smallest little Allen wrench that exists. Alright, some people are using wires. That doesn't work. You have to use a little Allen wrench. Now, what this does is there's this little gap. There's like a little bend in here. And so you gotta get the Allen wrench and stick it in there. And then, well, first you gotta push it forward with your finger. And if the hammer comes up and snaps your finger, that's your bad luck. And just do it again. Just pull it back and do this again. Then you push right here, and you slide it into that gap right there. Hold on, let it focus first. Come on. Alright, so push it into this little side gap. Maybe. If worse comes to worse, use your finger and then hold it. Alright, and then you gotta hold it here with the Allen wrench. It's giving me a hard time. Like that, when you put it back on. It's so stupid, but alright. So this piece here, this little plastic thing, if it's easier for you, take this screw out right here. What you're going to want to do is pull this all the way back until it's like this. This Allen wrench fits the screw, okay? So you're going to want to unscrew it right about here when it's in. Take it out, keep it out. Well, and then slide it off, okay? This is when you're taking it off. And then when you put it back on, it's going to slide right over this little thing that it keeps getting stuck on. This little... this right here is what that little screw gets stuck on. That's why you can't pull it back all the time. So you take that screw out and you slide this on, and then you put the screw back in. It's going to be like right down in here. Put the screw back in, and then it'll lock forward and stay there. It should. Whenever I put the slide back on, I always put the magazine in before I let it slide forward, so that way it'll stop it. Alright. So I'm just going to show you. Alright, so put this in. Okay, so this is without taking it out, because what happened was I stripped this plastic. This whole thing right here is plastic. Alright, when I did it, I stripped the plastic. And so in order to get this little screw back in the little hole that it doesn't exist anymore, I basically used high strength epoxy that dries in 30 minutes. So I just dabbed it in there and put it back in and angled it the way it was when I seen it before I stripped it. So that ain't coming out. So I'm gonna put this back in. Alright, the way you put this in, just so you know, this is also stupid. You gotta let the springs hang out like this. You put this up in like this. Okay. And then this part will slide up in there. Alright. You'd think they'd come up with a better design for this, but nope. Okay. So I always do this upside down. Hopefully you can see this here. That's my sleeve, that thing right there in the corner. Alright, so this will go on like this. Alright. Flip it over. Now this thing is getting stuck, so you pull the trigger right here to let that slide up there. Alright, now at this point there's this little ledge that these springs have to catch, and if they don't catch, and you pull down on the springs with your thumb to let it catch on this little lip. Okay? Now this is, here we go with this. So you take this, you gotta put this in here. This is like, I don't know what size this is, but in a kit of Allen wrenches, this one was like the very smallest I had. So, yeah. So you put this in here. I mean, whatever works for you. I like using the Allen wrench better than a piece of wire. Somebody was using a wire on YouTube, and they never explained that this is what was catching. This is why my slide wouldn't work. Sometimes you have to pull the trigger, and that happens. Alright, this is annoying. Alright, so I'm going to have to do this even closer. Ow. This is so stupid. Worst design ever. Nope. It's like a game. Desert Eagle plays games with you. It's like, you got it? You almost got it? Yeah, no, you didn't get it. No. Boo-hoo. Ah, you stinking little piece of crap. Alright. My hands are cold, so this isn't helping. I'm doing this out on my back porch. January, or no, not January, December 2nd. Feels like January, though. Alright. Obviously, it's going to take you a while to put the slide back on. Alright, this is stupid. I'm just saying right now. Nope. Still, okay, that was close. That was really close. Got it. Alright. Dang! That spring came up, I think. I don't know what just happened. Alright. Something wrong. My fingers are like numb. Alright. Alright, now this is a weird, you gotta, okay. Now, once this is in here like this, I lock it, the slide lock, put the magazine in, and then let it come forward very slowly and don't let it close all the way. Then I put the barrel on, and you lock it there. Alright. There you go. Lots of heck, alright? Now, the other thing I wanted to show you is when the barrel is off, this is the hop-up, okay? This is very hard to find. It took me a long time to figure out where the hop-up was, because I'm not good at reading directions, and, like, the directions are in, like, 5 different languages. Alright, so it's literally a little tiny dot up around this rubber seal, and I use my little tiny Allen wrench to adjust it. You go in and you swipe it back and forth, and it'll click in there over and over, and you basically adjust it, put the barrel on, fire it, take it off, adjust it, you know, until it's right. And it actually is a pretty good hop-up. It actually keeps a pretty tight pattern when you're on full auto. So you probably seen my shooting out my window with it. It was like one of the first videos I uploaded on this channel. So yeah, but yeah, for 460 FPS, it's probably more around 400 with 0.2 BBs, but yeah, I like using it in an airsoft game, but I absolutely hate trying to take care of it. Maintenance stuff drives me crazy. So yeah, magazine, my O-rings are bad. I have to practically get a new magazine for it and stuff, so alright, hang on. Alright, sorry about that. So it takes normal 12 gram CO2 whatever cartridges. At least I think they're 12 gram. I think that's what it says. CO2 power shotgun. Yeah. Whatever the normal CO2 cartridges are that are about, 2 inches long. Or more like 3, but 2.5, 3, whatever. So, semi-auto works good. This thing actually uses less gas than my friend Excalibur, his M9. He runs out, he'll run out of gas in the middle of a magazine. But this one, I've actually fired off about 4 or 5 magazines with one CO2 cartridge, which is pretty good. So, if you have multiple mags and you're switching out, if you have 2, that's like, you go through 10 magazines without changing your cartridge, which is pretty cool. So, yeah. The hammer has a nice clicking sound. Realistic slide on it. I love just the menacingness of this gun. Oh yeah, that's a thing too. This thing, I don't know why it sticks out. I think it's from the rubber seal on the hop-up. It drags it, but you can just push it in to make it look more like a real one whenever, because the real one has this thing right here. So this thing just slides in and out for some reason. I don't know what this is actually. It's part of the air nozzle or whatever. But the BBs feed right here, and then it slides. It'll take a BB in. So what you can do is you can load a magazine up and then put another BB in. So you got one in the chamber and then a full mag, so you get an extra shot. But yeah, it's fun. I like it. I don't like the way it's designed, but can't really do anything about that. So yeah, have fun out there. And if you aren't a technical person, if you don't like stuff like this, like the amount of intense thought you have to go into just to take care of it, don't get this gun. It is not for you. But if you don't care and you want a Desert Eagle that shoots full auto at 400 FPS and you want your enemies to cower before your feet, then yeah, get it. It's epic. And just don't ever take the slide off, and don't ever come crying to me if your slide won't go back on, because I'm sick of it. Just watch the video. Alright, this is Ace with Warox Delta 47, and have fun, be awesome. See ya.